I want this chance to show you that your God in karate is so much nonsense, and that's quite easy to do. I know Kung Fu.
Show me. Once again, thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of H8L Presents Fistfights and Fried Rice. Once again, I'm your host, Taz. Followed me, as always, is my hetero life mates, my brother from another mother, Uncle McGriddles, and the Justice Unprodified, Justice Magnificent. How you fellas doing this evening?
I'm living the dream, man.
That's what I like to hear. How about yourself, Justice? Good times. All right. Good talk. Yeah. All right. You're definitely living the dream. I'll just go ahead and speak on his behalf. He is living life to the fullest right now. First and foremost, I want to give a shout out to Solid Dollars for the brand new theme, brand new intro, brand new outro. He's one of Charlotte's best underground producers, and if you cats don't know about him, I say definitely look him up. Solidus. Yeah. Not only does he train at H8L, he's an H8L original, and on top of that, like I said, he's one of the best beat makers in the game right now. If you get a chance, check him out.
I liked it, man. I liked what I heard.
Name is dope. The new intro is dope, and I loved all the sound bites that he included into it, and I definitely can't wait for you guys to hear the outro that he made for the show. So far, so good, man. We're heading in the right direction.
Absolutely. We'll definitely get to this outro at some point.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's a Justice Magnificent just messaged me saying, "Yeah, continue. I froze on the intro." It's all good. He'll join. He'll join us when he can.
Yeah. Go figure. As soon as you're ready to hit record, is when everything just shits the bed immediately.
I mean, that's how it always goes, man. Remember, we were supposed to do the sound check. What was it, this past Saturday? Bro, I ain't gonna lie, I fell asleep. Yeah. But when I finally did wake up to do the sound check, I saw that Justice was on, and I was going to join him. And then right when I got ready to hit record, that's when Windows had an update, and it took till 4 in the morning for it to finish doing it. And I was like, man, I'm not going to try to message these guys at 4 in the morning to try to record.
Yeah, dude.
I like you guys, but that's asking a little much.
Looks like we got Deku on him.
What's up?
Hey, what's up, Deku? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, man. Been a long week, but I'm good now.
Hey, man, you sound pleasant, man. That's all I could ask for, man. Deku, I got to ask you a question, bro. Did you get a chance to watch the movie that we're reviewing tonight? If not, that's okay. I just got to ask.
Which one is it? Which one?
American Samurai.
Oh, no, I have not.
Not a problem. I have a feeling you're going to enjoy the review of this movie. When I say that the tagline for this movie is literally Bloodsport with blades. And you know what? As much as I hate to admit that, I think they actually kind of held true to that.
Absolutely, dude. I mean, it's
Bloodsport mixed with what else?
Swordplay. Imagine Highlander in a UFC octagon.
I want to watch this shit right now.
Yeah, we definitely made it sound a little bit cooler than it is, but
I am really overselling the hell out of this. Primarily because I'm a big fan of the guy that's the star. Actually, the two leads in the movie. I'm a big fan of both of them. So you'll hear a little bit of overhype for this movie on my part. I'm not going to go so far as I did on the octagon, but it's going to be pretty close. So Deku, like me and McGriddles were talking, neither one of us have really read up on any MMA news other than me knocking up Ariana Celeste. So right now, man, we're just gonna free verse it, sound check, having some fun. We're gonna talk fights, gonna talk some combat. We're gonna review this movie. I don't know if you got a chance to hear the new intro music, but if not, I mean, once we upload the video, you'll be able to hear it. But we also got new intro and new outro music, so looks like Fistfights and Fried Rice is heading in the right direction.
Yep.
And I have to honestly say, man, for our second
about MMA news, I see Gina Carano is upset over Dana deleting a photo or some shit?
Okay, let me clear the air on that. Let me just put this
I
out
don't
there
really
in
know
the
what it's
ether.
about.
First and foremost, I am not against women empowerment, women's strength, girl power, whatever you want to call it. I am not against it in any way. I think that it's great. I think that is great if for any woman and any woman to be in love with themselves or love their body, loves their looks, etc., etc., etc. With all of that being said, when you go to a platform like Instagram or Facebook or any of these other social media whatevers, there are guidelines and rules in place. And most of them will flat out tell you, no nudes. If you post nudes, they're going to take them down. You agree to this before you even are able to post anything. That's not from a law standpoint. That's not from, that's not from me just being an old curmudgeon, because believe me, I enjoy the female form. Let me just go ahead and put that out there right now. I think
It'd
she's
be like if I was like
beautiful
putting
woman.
dick pics on Instagram, then got mad that they took it down.
Yeah. So basically, the photo in question, it's this photo that she put up of basically her breast. She's got the morning light hitting her in the back, and her arms are behind her head, and she's, doing the sexy cat stretch pose or whatever. And she has like this caption about, it's great to be, I don't know, proud, beautiful woman and whatnot. And that's cool. That believe me, that's cool. But again, you knew what this was when you posted that picture on Instagram. There's no way that you didn't know that they weren't going to take that down.
So what is Dana White coming to play with this? He told her to take it down or some shit or whatever?
I have no idea because
I didn't know he was
I didn't know he was involved in that at all.
It was taken down. It was taken down.
It was taken down by Instagram, yeah.
Okay, you can't really be mad at that. That has nothing to do with anti-feminism. That has nothing to do with anti-girl power or anything. If anything, Instagram or Facebook, they're all for that. They're all for, any of that. But you just can't put nudes up on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever social media that you have. And if she wants to do that, you just make a OnlyFans account and you can get paid for it.
Exactly.
Dude, I have what she actually posted in front of me, and it's so insane. People should be aware of this. So for her tip pic, she says, "I find freedom sexy. I find freedom so sexy I can't even explain it to you. You wake up every day and feel like you can do anything." And that's what she put with this pic.
Okay, so she's upset with Instagram that they took her picture down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like McGriddles literally hit the nail on the head. That'd be like him taking a dick pic and putting it out there on Instagram and then be like, I can't believe they wouldn't allow me to express myself. That'd be like him literally holding his cock and balls, standing in in the morning light, drenched in morning dew, and just being like, I as a man love feeling like a lumberjack. Today is just another day.
Same thing she did.
Today's just another day for me to love myself, for myself, by myself. Yeah, no.
That's what it pretty is. That's pretty much what it is. Like, that's like one of us waking up today. You know what? I love being gay. So I want to take a picture of my ball. I didn't shave, and I'm going to put it on Instagram.
Can't believe Instagram would want to silence me. That hurts me.
Yeah, exactly. Like what the fuck? What are you trying to do? You like, what was it a bet? Was she trying to make a thirst trap or whatever and everything? Like, what was she thinking? Was she trying to get back relevant? Like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Girl is taking all the shine right now. Like, what's going on?
I mean, but isn't it safe to say that she's still relevant?
Smarter. I think she would be like. I thought she had more intelligence.
But I mean, you got to look at it for what it is.
I expect something like this from Paige Van Zandt. Or something like that.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was just getting ready to mention Paige. But I think from Gina Carano's standpoint, I mean, isn't she a little better than this? I mean, she's on that Mandalorian show. She's like a fan favorite. She's making good money in movies. What's the point of putting out a tit pic just to stay relevant when you're already relevant?
That's a good question.
She's one of the let's call it what it is. She's one of the very few. Well, she's one of the very, very few female, women MMA fighters that was able to not only have a really bright career outside of the cage, but a lasting career. She was in Deadpool, she was in Haywire, a couple straight-to-video or on-demand flicks or whatever. She's still a big name, even in the world of MMA. She could do an autograph signing right now and would have a line around the building, especially with this picture.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe this is bigger now.
No, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
I was saying, like, she's big. Matter of fact, she was on, a lot of people don't know, she was on Wiz Khalifa's first Muay Thai coach, if you want to say that.
Was she really? So, I never knew that.
She was Wiz Khalifa's first, like, kickboxing. Apparently, they kind of, like, a friend of a friend knew each other, and he was like, hey, I want to get into kickboxing or whatever. And the person was like, well, I do know an MMA fighter that can teach you. And one of his first videos of him training kickboxing or Muay Thai, Gina Carano was holding pads for him. And that's why he's into Sanchai and Borkow. So the money isn't the problem.
Right.
I just really think she's just trying to stay relevant. But everybody knows who Gina Carano is.
Everybody. That's wild to me.
You're a pioneer in women's MMA, period.
You remember one time where all the talk was basically going to be Carano versus Rousey?
Yeah. I really still wanted that fight to
happen. So you wanted to see poor Gina get her arm broken?
I think Gina wins that.
Are you being funny?
I'm being so serious. In Gina's prime, I feel like
wow,
Gina would have
really.
I don't think she would have knocked her out, but I think she would have did what the man in Nunez did.
I'm going to take a page out of McGriddles' book. You know, the majority of the girls that Carano fought didn't even have a Wikipedia page.
This is true, man.
I mean, the majority of her career, like, no offense to her, the majority of her career, she was beaten up on paint cans.
Who did she actually fight? I'm not even saying that to be funny. It was just a long time ago. I can't remember.
She fought Cyborg, right? Did she?
But besides Cyborg, name any other notable fights that she actually had.
No, I can only think of Cyborg. That's it.
I mean, at least with Rousey, love her or hate her, you have to admit she beat and fought everyone there was at the time, minus Cyborg.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, since we're on this subject of women's MMA, McGriddle's favorite subject. In the annals of history, who do you put up there? We'll say your let's go top 5. Top 5 women's MMA fighters of all time. The best of the best.
The best of the best. I have right now, all time, I have to put Amanda Nunes.
You have to.
Yeah, I think Nunes gets one in first place from everybody.
Oh yeah, I mean there's nothing even to argue there. Who you got as your number 2?
Cyborg.
Oh, okay. Good. How about you, McGriddles?
I got to go with Cyborg too, man. I think her record and her terrifyingness speaks for itself.
This is frightening. We're actually all in agreement here. Okay, who you got for your number 3? It's kind of an obvious choice to me,
3,
but you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna go Miesha Tate.
Did not see that coming. Okay, McGriddles, you.
I think I gotta go Rousey for 3.
I got Rousey for 3 as well. Okay, and I actually have Tate as my 4.
It gets down to that, like, because I start comparing like their raw ability versus like what they did for the sport. So it's like, I don't know, like Holly Holm beat her, but I feel like she was a more important women's fighter than Holly Holm.
I mean, but think about it. The reason why I put Miesha Tate over Ronda Rousey is because when she lost, she licked her wounds, but she got back in there.
I'll give you that.
Ronda Rousey lost and went off and disappeared for a whole year and a half.
Okay, but to be fair, this was a girl who had never known defeat, never lost. Unlike Tate, who had taken a handful of losses, so she knew how to deal with losing. Now, again, I'm not using that as an excuse, because as a fighter, you have to learn to take the good with the bad. But I think it was one of those things where I think we can all agree that when she first exploded onto the scene, she was a completely different fighter than when she left it. When she exploded onto the scene, it was no fucks given. She was breaking arms, knocking bitches out, choking them out, doing whatever. She looked almost unstoppable. Granted, she was a damn near a one-trick pony, but she was really good at the trick that she could do. And it was very hard for anyone to stop her. I think it's when she started smelling her own ass and buying into her own hype, that's when she fell off the wagon. To me, at least.
Yeah, dude.
Once
I
Hollywood
agree.
started calling and she started doing the movies and hanging out with the A-listers, she lost the fire. She lost the passion. And I genuinely think she thought she was just going to be able to stroll back in there and continue just doing arm bars and just being the best and doing whatever. Unfortunately, like all the greats, once the game catches up to you, it's unforgiving.
Yeah.
Like, if you think
I
about
felt
it,
like buying-
how embarrassing is that
Go
if
ahead.
when you think about it? This is a girl that completely starched Kat Zingano in just a handful of seconds. But Kat Zingano made a complete mockery out of Amanda Nunes.
Yeah. Yeah. People forget about
People
that.
forget about that. She made Nunes look brand new to the sport. Granted,
thing about it,
granted,
you
she
gotta
wasn't
realize
as experienced at the time, but
Right,
still,
She
it's
beat
it's
the-
when she went Hollywood and lost focus and started just kind of messing around, doing whatever, and not focusing on the training. That's when the fight game eventually caught up to her.
You know what? I like to change my number 3.
Okay,
Instead of me, I got Misha as number 4. I'm throwing Valentina as number 3. Yeah.
wow, good
'Cause
pick.
right now, I see her as the only woman that could go toe to toe with Amanda Nunes.
She's proven it
Her-
twice.
Yeah, she's proven it twice, and I believe she has the more all-around MMA game more than Amanda Nunes.
I actually feel she
Yeah,
won both of those
striking-
fights, but that's just me.
What do you say?
I actually felt that she won both of those fights, but that's just me.
I'm there with you. I'm there with you too. You can make a case for that the first fight, but the second fight, I had her winning most of those rounds.
As do I.
The first fight, she I feel like Amanda won the first 2 rounds, and the third round she got dropped. And I mean, obviously you can't forget about the first 2 rounds.
Facts.
So I give that to Amanda. But like I was saying, she has better striking to me. She has better wrestling, and I believe she has better jiu-jitsu than Amanda. That's why I want to see that third fight.
You know
'Cause
what?
right now,
you have inspired
they're
me to
just gonna
change
clear
mine.
out both the divisions. So
You know what? I'm
I
going to
mean-
take a page out of your book, Deku. I'm going to change mine. I got Amanda Nunes at number 1. I got Chris Cyborg at number 2. Valentina at number 3. Ronda Rousey at number 4. And this is going to be a controversial take, but I have Holly Holmes at number 5. Primarily for what she did against Ronda Rousey. She cracked the code of beating her. Granted, she was a shell of herself, but regardless, she still won. And on top of that, I can't look past all of the championships that this woman has amassed in all the combat sports that she's competed in.
yeah, I agree. People don't look at her boxing career. People don't look at her kickboxing career that she had and how she how many before she fought Ronda. How many fights did she have in the UFC?
Rain Man, are you on? I'm going to reach out to Justice Magnificence for this one.
Yeah, I'm on. You know what? Oh, I want to say it was like 1 and 2. Wasn't that many? Like
No, it
it
wasn't
was like
many at
a
all.
debut and then like more fight, and then she was ready to
Yeah, it
go.
was like maybe 2 or 3. I want to say 2. I really do, because I know she fought somebody and that was her debut. It was like it was a very close decision. I forget who it was though. I believe I can't really remember that woman's name, but she's only had like maybe 2 or 3 fights and she beat the world champ.
Yeah,
So
completely starched her. Literally.
yeah, really badly.
Literally
Like,
kicked
it's
her into
one
the
of
afterlife.
biggest knockouts I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was 2.
It was 2. See?
Pennington.
Pennington, that was it.
And Marion Renault. Yeah,
What was the one of them that went split decision, or at least close to split decision?
Raquel Pennington.
It
Pennington.
was Pennington? Okay. All right. I figured.
Man, could you imagine that? 2 fights and then you're fighting the champ and then you knock the champ out?
That's insane. Like, I feel like if she would have just, man, because she was kind of winning that fight with Misha, but she probably would have ended up.
I think she hadn't relied on that sidekick so much. I think she'd have been fine. All Misha had to do was
Yeah.
time that sidekick, take her down, climb on her back, and that was it. Now, to Holmes' credit, she ain't tap. She literally went out punching, albeit punching air, but she went out.
Yeah, she had a vice grip one, so a vice grip squeeze on her. So
Yeah,
yeah,
she
to
wasn't
her
going
credit,
anywhere.
she went out on her shield.
Now, Justice, but before you got cut off and before Deku came on, we were talking about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and the video and image that you put up in the chat. Again, like I said before, I didn't realize he got lumped up the way that he did.
You didn't know that?
No, I don't know how I missed that.
Wow.
Like he got lumped up.
Yeah, all on that right side. So the initial glove gate issue was the left glove, which is they were saying his hand wasn't in there, but the right side was the one that did the damage because that was the eardrum that was busted. Well, it was his left side would have been Tyson Fury's right hand.
Right.
So that's the one that busted the cut inside the ear, and that's also the one that put the dent in his skull. It looks like. So,
Jesus.
Like my meme says, you should have been bobbing and weaving.
I mean, he should have. He should have. Deontay Wilder, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The man just has freakish, unreal knockout power. It's ridiculous how he could just end you in one shot. And the thing is, I don't even blame him for giving up on the boxing that got him to where that he is. If I knew that I could just put you out on a moment's notice, that's probably all I'd be doing too.
Yeah, I wouldn't work on anything else. Like, if my right hand, my right missile can connect to your face or anywhere close to your face, whether you're blocking or not, and it can put you on your butt, I'm not working on footwork. I'm not running. I'm not working on speed drills. I'm not working on a goddamn thing. I'm just working on hitting the heavy bag and hitting mitts and lifting weights.
That's fair. Now, do any of you believe the excuse of the 40-pound walkout outfit?
Yeah, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. I've seen him wear a lot more, and he went and knocked the person out. So that's just, look, he just got outclassed that night, okay? I mean, that's all it really was. He just got outclassed that night.
I got to agree with you. I have got to agree with you.
I do want him to go work. I don't want him to. They say Mayweather reached out to him. I don't want him to work with Mayweather. He doesn't. He's not known for training people with that type of style of fighting that Deontay has. I really do want him, in a perfect world, I do want him to work out with Mike Tyson. Or I want either two other people to reach out to him. B-Hop or, what's the guy name? B-Hop or, why am I forgetting this guy's name? He bit his ear off. Mike Tyson bit his ear off. Why can't I remember his name?
Holyfield.
Yes, Holyfield. I don't know why.
So you'd rather see Deontay Wilder work with these former fighters rather than coaches?
I'd rather him work with B-Hop or Holyfield.
Really? So you wouldn't want him working with like a Freddie Roach or a Manny Stewart? Because let us not forget what great wonders Freddie Roach did with the great GSP as he sailed his way through the entire welterweight division.
Okay, if we're talking about like actual trainers, okay, yes, Freddie Roach, but I was just staying on the category because Mayweather reached out to him.
GSP storched the entire welterweight division with a jab, a Superman jab, a double leg, and Kyokushin leg kicks.
If anything, I would want him to work with Ryan Garcia's coach.
That'd be interesting. That kid is going to be a future Hall of Famer.
And no.
Yeah.
And no what?
No, I disagree with both of those statements.
What? You don't think Ryan Garcia's going to be a future champ or a future Hall of Famer?
Ryan Garcia?
Yeah.
He wants to move way too fast. He hasn't even grown into his body yet. He still has that 17-year-old body. And he wants to fight people like Gervonta Tank Davis and Devin Haney. He's going to get smoked really bad.
Oh, I didn't say he would. Hang on, no, I didn't say he wouldn't get smoked. I wouldn't say that he wouldn't take losses throughout his career. I just think that if he keeps going the way that he's going, especially in terms of the knockouts, entertaining the crowd, and so forth, I could see the kid potentially being a Hall of Famer. But I think I agree that he definitely needs to slow the fuck down, and I definitely think he needs to, as you say, grow into his body, mature more as a boxer, more as a fighter. Don't get caught up in the lights and the glam and the fans and all that, but actually focus on the game, focus on the task at hand, and age gracefully in this sport, because boxing can be very unforgiving.
Right. If he takes those fights within the next 2 years, he's going to end up like Adrian Broner, pretty much. And I want to see that for him, because I do think he has skills.
Why you always shitting on Broner?
Who, AB?
Yeah, why you always shitting on him?
always beat up.
That man was supposed to be the next big thing. And he just made a few careless decisions and a few dumb moves. And unfortunately now, he's kind of looked at as a joke.
He has skills,
He does have
but
skills.
his move up to 147 was his mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Justice.
Yeah, as much as I don't want to, I have to agree too.
Yeah, but with Deontay Mayweather Jr. has no training experience at the moment. No, he's working with Devin Haney. He's working with another young guy. But Floyd Senior pretty much said Deontay Wilder was trash. He wouldn't train him at all.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did say that.
I mean, I wouldn't call the guy trash. Wow.
he called him trash.
Yeah, those are harsh words.
Man, that's what have kicked him right in the balls. That's man.
I'm not gonna lie, that would have hurt me if I was Deontay Wilder and I went on this run and I'm feeling good about myself and arguably one of the greatest trainers of all time tell me I'm trash. That would hurt me a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things where everyone loves you when you're winning, but then the moment you take a loss, oh, you were never that good. And that's what I mean by boxing could be very unforgiving, just absolutely unforgiving. MMA is the same way. You get these guys that go on, like, okay, prime example, Ngannou. When Ngannou exploded onto the scene and was literally decapitating people, R.I.P. over him, and just completely laying waste to anyone and everyone that gets in his path, he fights Stipe, gasses out, gets outworked, outclassed, and it's like, oh, was Ngannou even really that good? Yeah, he was. It still is. This is a guy that has freakish power. And again, if I had the ability to put you out with either hand at a moment's notice, honestly, there are certain aspects of the game I probably wouldn't focus on as much as I probably should until I tasted one of those losses. Then I was like, you know what? Now I need to start taking the game seriously. And sometimes you have to be humbled like that in order for you to get back on track. There is nothing more humbling than getting your ass whooped.
I agree. And I'm pretty sure most of us have felt that or whatever a time or two in our lifetime, just getting our ass handed to us. Shit, I gotta be in the gym more, or I gotta work on this, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's happening to Deontay Wilder. Whether he shows it or states it or vocally says it or not, he knows in his head what happened. Regardless of if you want to say Glovegate or whatever the case may be. I feel like if the Glovegate or whatever didn't happen, he'll still get fucked up and dancing on and getting whispered sweet nothings in his ear licked. That does something to you.
Agreed.
It
does.
If someone licked my ear in the middle of the fight, I'll whisper to my boys, "Hey man, get the gun. I can't beat this guy right now." So we just got to shoot him.
I like that. Get the gun. I like that. McGriddles, you got the piece? Yeah. You saw what he did to me, right? You need to end this.
Straight up.
I respect that. Okay.
Until then, it's just like I said, like he needs to. I would love to see him go working with a Freddie Roach. Or they're popping firecrackers in my neighborhood. I don't know what they're.
I thought that was you firing off shots. I was like, man, you're really serious about that. Okay.
I thought that was a sound effect from the show.
But they've been doing this since like April.
Oh wow.
I don't know why.
Those might not be
Actually,
firecrackers.
I got them going off here too, man. Like every night.
What's good, man?
Oh wow.
But
so, anybody eating anything good lately? Because if not, I had some pretty good Korean food the other day, and I would not mind sharing it.
Oh, so speaking, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but my girl, there's this lady in Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
She did a pop-up spot, and she made some. Hey babe, what was that? Not meat call that we ate yesterday. Jackfruit. Yeah.
Okay.
Jackfruit
Well, hang on.
tacos.
Let me give you a musical intro, and after that intro, let's talk about it. Here it is.
All right. Cool.
Yes, I'll take a number 3. Floor is yours,
So like
sir.
the lady's name, her company's called Lotus Land Eats. And I was so in a rush to get the food because the food was so good, but she made some jackfruit tacos, and you know how I love like Mexican food. And it was so good. Like I said, I'm probably gonna try to get in touch with her sometime tomorrow to, explain the ins and outs of, the podcast. Would like to feature your business and whatnot. Because let me tell you, man, this is probably one of the best tacos I had in Charlotte.
And is it just a pop-up?
It was a pop-up.
And it's vegan.
Yeah, and it's delicious.
I know nothing about vegan foods.
Nice find, man.
Real nice find. Did you get a card or anything?
I couldn't. We was both in a rush. She had to go do something with her kid or whatever, and I told her, you know what, I'm gonna hit you up on Instagram to talk about what we need to talk about.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna talk to her tomorrow. So for me, I believe she's like, for me, she's on the top of my list. Like, I have 3 other people or 3 other businesses I got in mind, but definitely, let's just say I got 10 tacos.
That's what's up. Wow, that's what's up. I had 10 delicious tacos not too long ago. They were from Taco Bell. They were fantastic.
So you're about to have free diarrhea.
That's fair. That is fair.
And let me just add on to that again.
Mm-hmm.
Vegan tacos, since I'm the resident vegan here.
Okay.
Vegan tacos. There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take another quick little interlude, a quick little short break. And when we come back, I'm going to hit you with the next topic. McGriddles, this is going to fall more into your court, your field of expertise. I asked you this question before once, and you kind of gave me a quick overview or a quick rundown, but I'm going to put you on the spot. So I'm going to shine the light on you.
Fuck, dude.
Yeah. From a legal standpoint, why do you feel like Mark Hunt's case went nowhere?
This is a good question. So just to preface this for anybody viewing this, I'm an attorney in North Carolina, and so I do estates business and special education law, but of course, as a UFC fan, I like to see what I can get into analyzing their cases. And so, if we actually prepared for this to be a regular show, I'd have all the Mark Hunt shit in front of me.
Oh, I know. That's why I totally put you on the spot.
Yeah, super on the spot. So if I absolutely butcher key facts, nobody can hold me accountable.
Exactly.
But as most MMA fans are aware, especially anybody watching this probably knows that Mark Hunt fought Brock Lesnar at UFC 200, which was now so long ago.
Right?
But yeah, dude, so long ago. And Brock Lesnar won mainly with a jab and like a takedown or two. And that was really uneventful. But I think people were expecting Mark Hunt to beat the shit out of Brock Lesnar because Overeem, I think, was like one of his previous fights before Hunt, and he was another like pride guy that just like exposed Lesnar for having no stand-up whatsoever. And so after the fight, Mark Hunt's embarrassed. He wants to sue Dana White in the UFC because he says Dana White in the UFC knew that Brock Lesnar was on steroids. And so he's pursuing a couple different theories here. From memory, he's trying to say that the contract they entered was fraudulent because Dana White knew that the other guy tested positive. And so he's saying that basically he should have like some kind of contract damages based on the theory that Dana White breached the contract and he performed under false pretenses because he didn't know. And then the other thing he raised up was basically some kind of negligence theory that because Brock Lesnar was on steroids, therefore he could get injured because he fought a guy on steroids. And so, which I could be totally butchering this. I think this happened years ago.
You're doing good so far, man.
So far, so good. So a couple things with the main claim, because if you guys remember correctly, there was this controversy over Lesnar pop positive for a test before going out there. And this is where UFC lawyers would just absolutely have a field day defending this thing, because even though everybody under the sun can look at Brock Lesnar and figure out that he's on something, especially given he's like in his late 30s at this time, and he's like a house, which is not, I don't know. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say his physique is unnatural, so everybody looking at it says, yeah, of course he's on steroids. But if you're trying to prove it to show that Dana White was like, so egregiously violating this contract, it's a problem, because with these steroid tests, you can take multiple tests. They did have weird testing things where he was like, he was tested or wasn't tested at some weird time. But Dana White's also doing that with the blessing of whatever athletic commission they're working with. So he can kind of turn around and say, dude, take it up with them. Like, I don't know what your problem is with me. And also, it gets into testing positive. What does that even mean? Like, everybody remembers John Jones and his picograms. So this kind of raises an issue, because like, how much of this stuff is really, how much do you have to get tested for it to actually be to the level of fraud where nobody could possibly deny that you were on steroids? Because if they can say, well, he passed one test and then failed the other test, or the commission tested him, whatever, the commission said it was okay for us to test him after that, then they're not doing anything that's abnormal. And it's also kind of an interesting situation, because UFC is the biggest name in the game.
Right.
And so a lot of times when you're looking at, like, if you're trying to show a court that somebody breached a contract, you would kind of point to the industry standard. So say, like, I'm shipping a pallet of, crap to your house, and then whatever goes wrong, our contract is vague about it. So then you would argue in court, well, the industry standard is, the guy who carries the load is the one who's liable for it until it gets to the location, which that's like kind of a realistic example, but it's different in every jurisdiction. But UFC is them. There is nobody. It's hard to say who the industry standard is in UFC. So like, that argument is extremely difficult, if not impossible to make. Showing he's on steroids to the extent that you could say the contract was breached to the point of fraud, where we're talking about like liquid damages, that's another huge problem, because you got paid everything that you would have got paid, regardless of what happened. I guess he could say Lesnar only won because he's on steroids and he should have the win bonus, but that's going to look super flimsy. And also, you have Lesnar, like, then you could try to say, like, you're exposing yourself to unreasonable danger. And so when you're signing on the dotted line to fight Brock Lesnar in a cage, a guy who's positive for steroids before, he was in the NFL, he was in the WWE, he's done interviews where he's like, yeah, I was on pain pills for 2 years doing steroids in WWE. It's like no secret who you're getting in the cage with.
Right.
So it's extremely hard to turn around and say, something unfair happened to me, and it was so unfair, we need the fucking federal government to come in here and fix this. Like, bottom line, he fought Brock Lesnar. You knew exactly what you were getting into, and you got paid very well to do it. Like, it's not like he didn't sustain an injury. So you can't, like, start arguing, I could have gotten injured. That'd be like if I tried to sue Taz for almost hitting me with his car, which you can sue somebody for assault, saying that you scared the shit out of me or whatever. But long story long, it's not going to be. It's just super weak sauce in court.
Okay.
And I would bet that, which I don't know his fucking attorney. So actually, dude, if you ever find me, you can come get some. I'll kick your ass. but his attorney, I would bet, dude, he knew Hunt had some pockets with some amount of money in them. He told him, he fed into his anger. It was like, yeah, this is bullshit. We should go after him. But like, realistically, which he might have given him the honest advice, was like, dude, this is a flimsy case, and it was flimsy when it started, and it was just kept alive by appeals and stuff.
Gotcha.
Which I'm pretty sure it's dead. I would have to honestly go look at it, but I could have swore it got.
Yeah, I think they tried to appeal it. Yeah, they tried to appeal it, and I think it got tossed out.
Yeah, after a certain point, the court's going to be like, you'd have to present a seriously novel issue for it to go to the. I don't think it went to circuit courts. I can't even remember.
I
But
don't think it did.
if there's not some novel issue the court needs to parse out, they're just going to be like, yeah, your shit out of luck, bro. But that's the biggest takeaway. If I had to sum it up all in one sentence, you got fucking paid. You didn't get hurt. What are you crying about? Like it looks like a hurt feelings case, which is like a certain kind of case where it's like you can tell the animus behind the case is not actual damages, but somebody's pissed off, and that's what it is, and it doesn't hold that much weight.
Okay, Deku, Justice, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, my thing is the way he can like have a really good case is people forget that he got an exemption for however, what was it, like a month, I believe, a month prior, pretty much what it was, whatever that you do test positive for, you get an exemption for, and pretty much we're not even going to hold this against. That's where I understand Mark Hunt. So you know this man, like, you know, McGriddles was saying, was testing positive for it. You know he was. And then he tests positive right before the fight and after it, too. But he just goes all back to the WWE, and I'm done fighting. I'm done. I don't have to answer for no repercussions, no suspension, no anything, which he kind of sort of did serve because he was trying to come back against, you know, Daniel Cormier, but that didn't go through, and it was like, well, he already served it, if anything, or whatever.
All right.
So he has a case for that because you guys knew, Dana knew, the whole organization knew, the testing sanctioning body, they all knew. That's why they gave him, because I guess Brock Lesnar disclosed it to like, hey, you're trying to fight, okay, cool, but I'm on this shit right now. I'm in WWE, and I'm working part-time, but I'm working these angles for 3 to 6 months, you know, to being on certain shows. So I got to be on this shit to recover or whatever the case may be for him. So they knew he was on some shit.
All right. Justice, your thoughts?
It's a crazy situation. And McGriddles was saying, I think a lot of it, Mark Hunt is hurt for the loss. The John Jones thing, I know USADA is making a lot of exemptions now. I just go back to like Jesse Taylor, the guy that was on TUF.
Jesse Taylor. Talk about a lost cause.
Jesse Taylor got popped, but it wasn't his fault. Jesse Taylor it was a supplement that he had taken. And he got released immediately, even though they found out that it wasn't his fault.
Well, I also think they were looking for a reason to get rid of him, too.
Yeah, it was. But John Jones got popped with pictograms, and Sugar Sean O'Malley spent 2 years, you know, for something similar. It's kind of like, you know, you picking and choosing. Yeah. In my opinion. You
are. Because at the time, Sugar Sean O'Malley, yes, the potential that he have, and it's showing right now what he can become.
Yeah, but Sugar Sean also puts asses in seats. Jesse Taylor, nobody.
Yeah.
Right. And Brock
John
Lesnar
Jones put ass in seats. Brock Lesnar put ass in seats.
Couldn't agree more, man. McGriddles, I was ready to come in here guns blazing, defending Mark Hunt. This is bullshit. He was robbed. And then after you hit me with all that law shit, and I'm like, Yep.
I mean, I think almost think of it like a DWI, where it's like, okay, obviously if you're over a certain limit, then you get a DWI. But if you're trying to say this contract was breached and I'm entitled to damages, like what magic amount of testosterone stuff, what did they find in you? And how can you possibly prove that violated the terms of like, I mean, he has an argument for bad faith. He could say he was on roids, but it doesn't help. It does not help at all when your attorney's like thrown out like outrageous amounts of money, especially when you didn't get hurt and you got paid the way you were supposed to get paid. Like, he has a case, but there's just like, it's just flimsy. It's just not enough to. It's not enough to rise to you getting the damages he's looking for.
Nice. Okay. Well, gentlemen, that was the topic that I had for you, and you guys absolutely killed it. Like I said, I was ready to come in here guns blazing defending Mark Hunt, but after listening to everyone's opinions and their point of view, and McGriddles breaking it down, with the law, and just even with me putting him on the spot, I thought it was going to be a little harder for him to be able to shoot down my whole argument, and man, he just took a shit right on it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play the interlude. I'm going to go ahead and play the interlude music, and when we come back, we're going to review 1992's American Samurai.
The sword, chosen weapon of the samurai.
I won't fight you.
Two brothers. One lives by the samurai code.
I am Yakuza now.
The other lives for revenge. Drawn into a bizarre murder.
Do you know who the killer is?
I have a damn good idea.
Your life is in danger if you do not fight.
Let the combat begin! Where the world's most brutal weapons masters meet for money and fame. He must face them all.
Destiny.
And his own brother.
We have to get out of here.
To take back his family's honor. But in the blood sport known as Live Blade, there are no rules.
I have to do this.
And only one can survive. Martial arts master David Bradley of American Ninja. And karate and weapons champion Mark Dacascos. American Samurai.
Yes, 1992's American Samurai, starring a highly underappreciated but yet oftentimes forgotten David Bradley. Man, where do I begin? Matter of fact, Justice, you want to go ahead and synopsize this film for us?
Yeah, I just want to go ahead and say R.I.P. to the hour and 26 minutes that I can't get back.
I think we might have a difference of opinions on this one. You know what? Go ahead. You go ahead and synopsize this film, and I'll be happy to compare notes with you.
Yeah, first of all, I mean, the plane crash, cheesy. So you got this guy, he's with his parents, the plane's going down somewhere close to the mountains of Japan. He gets found, sounds something like Iron Fist. He gets found by a samurai master. And he is raised in the art of the sword along with the samurai master's son. And for some reason, the samurai master is, upset with the son because the son doesn't feel an outsider should be training in the way of the sword more than he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, he gets the sword. The master said he's going to leave soon and presents him with this, this family heirloom of a sword, and he leaves. In the midst of, the actual son joining the Yakuza and getting this crazy tattoo, which I actually did like a little bit, and was about to cut his finger off, and they just kind of went their own separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so anybody else want to step in, they can. It was just real cheesy to me. It was something else.
I
can't get that.
I think you're being a little hard on this film, sir. I really do. This is another classic gem brought to us by the fantastic filmmakers over at the Canon Group, who, as I have said on numerous occasions, did a wonderful job of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And to me, I feel like this movie definitely sticks for all of the right and for all the wrong reasons. First off, the tagline, to me, says it all. Blood sport with blades. That, yeah, you could definitely tell the filmmakers of this movie were definitely huge JCVD fans. You could definitely tell that they wanted to work with Van Damme so bad to the point where they had this poor guy, David Bradley, who was a world-renowned martial artist, dressing up like Van Damme, almost doing his best Van Damme impersonations, which was kind of funny. As much as I enjoyed David Bradley's martial arts moves and shit on film, the Elvis haircut didn't really work for me. And that high-pitched voice in his delivery on some of his lines was almost comical. But again, I didn't enjoy this movie. I didn't enjoy the movie for his acting prowess. I enjoyed it for the fight scenes, and I thought for the time the fight scenes were pretty entertaining. As me and McGriddles were talking earlier on, you almost have to laugh at the absolute parallels of this movie combined with Bloodsport. It's absolutely hilarious. While the Kumite in Bloodsport look dirty and grimy and gritty, it's basically in a shithole somewhere in Hong Kong. It's dirty and it's filthy, and dudes are literally just getting beaten to a pulp. With this is like a fucking game show. Everything is clean and all the blades are shiny, and they got like high production TV values. The rich of the rich are coming to watch these people just literally try Mortal Kombat inside of a cage. It was an interesting contrast between this and Bloodsport. As McGriddles had pointed out, they even went so far as to cast their own American meathead like they had in Bloodsport. You know, the big biker dude with the Harley headband who didn't really have any fighting skills. He was just a guy that liked to fight. Well, in this one, you had your big country boy with a Bowie knife. with a Bowie knife with zero combat skills whatsoever.
This guy was in the match, and he starts throwing the knife side to side in each hand.
Yeah, not to mention it's a knife, and he can bring like any weapon he wants, and he's against like swords and spears and shit. And he brings like a hunting knife.
So I'll be the first one to admit, when I was first thinking about movies to review, I was like, man, I am having a field day with the Canon Group stuff, you know, the Octagon and Avenging Force, and it dawned on me, I was like, man, I think I was talking to Justice Magnificent in regards to... Actually, no, I think I was talking to UTBABYA in regards to the American Ninja films, and we got on the subject of David Bradley, the cat that came in and I believe it was American Ninja 3 to take over from Michael Dudikoff from Avenging Force. He took over that role, different character, who also happened to be an American ninja for reasons completely unknown. We'll review that movie at some point later down the line. Me trying to go into it now would cause us all to just scratch our heads. But in terms of his on-screen fighting ability, what did you guys think of David Bradley? Because I actually felt like his movesets were pretty good. His fight scenes were well choreographed. He was definitely athletic enough, agile enough, flexible enough. The dude's got some beautiful kicks.
That was good. It actually was. His fight scenes were pretty good. Now, I was disappointed with Mark Dekuishere. Is that how you say his name?
Dekuishere.
Yeah. I was a little bit disappointed with his by a long shot.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I mean, for those who don't know, Mark Dekuishere, this is one of Mark Dekuisere's early roles. I want to say this was before he did the live-action version of Crying Freeman, but I could be wrong. This was either before Crying Freeman or after Crying Freeman. This was definitely before he did Only the Strong, which was his breakout role, one of the first and best depictions of capoeira ever on film, and I think it still holds up well to this day, at least in terms of the capoeira fight scenes. The plot, absolutely horrible. Ignore that completely. But I will enjoy reviewing that one on the podcast as well, too. I definitely think his fight scenes could have been a lot better because he's definitely a world-renowned martial artist.
Right, world class. I mean, he's put on some action scenes, and it was underwhelming.
One thing I thought that was hilarious about the fight scenes is that all the costumes were basically picked by Vince McMahon. They look so ridiculous.
Yeah, they did have some WWF throwaway costumes there. Your what was it? Your stereotypical Viking costume.
Yeah, like if you could be stereotyped, like you got it in spades. It was one of those deals. It literally looked like 80s, Vince McMahon tag teams.
So how would you rate this film, gentlemen? For those of you that were able to see it, McGriddles, Justice, how would you rate this? 1 being absolute dog shit, 5 being an absolute soul-obliterating kick to the nuts.
I think I give it I'm sorry, did I interrupt something? I'd give it a 2. I mean, it's worth watching because it's blood sport with weapons and it's goofy, but you obviously have to be into that shit. And if you're watching this, you probably are. I kept thinking when I was watching it, by myself, this is agony. But if I had a few friends with me and I was drinking a beer or two, it'd probably be hilarious.
Oh, it'd be the greatest movie ever. This movie is fantastic.
So I give it 2. But one last thing before I'm done with this movie, one legal point to make. If you find a baby in the middle of the woods, you can't just like keep it. That was one of the big spots of this. It's like his plane goes down and they just find a baby in the woods and keep it. It's like, no, you have to take the baby to the authorities. He probably has relatives back in the States that probably are entitled to that baby.
I mean, the 80s and 90s were a different time, McGriddles. I mean, back then, if you just found white babies in the woods, you kept them. Yeah, they might bring good luck. You never know. Justice, how about yourself, sir?
I give it a 2. Fight scenes were good. Storyline, not so much. I mean, the whole thing was just like the beginning. The photographer.
It was the fucking octagon.
Then it's the it
was literally the fucking octagon.
Yeah, the photographer, and then all of a sudden they're traveling, and then all of a sudden he's in these speedos with a sword, and now they're sleeping together. It's just typical.
Yeah, dude, it's like paint by number shit.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with both of you. I am giving this movie a solid 3.5. This movie is pure enjoyment if you like absolute craptastic karate flicks. Horrible acting, very good and underappreciated fight scenes, good fight choreography, and I mean, some stuntmen definitely took some ass whoopings in this movie. And I hope they got more than just a sandwich for lunch and a free ride home, because, man, some of these guys and girls were getting fucked up in terms of the stunts that they were doing. I wouldn't want to get hit with a lot of these kicks, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to get thrown the way that I was, or the way that they were. For me, some of the negative points, which is what brought the score down for me, I really, really wanted a more, like, aggressive fight between David Bradley and Mark Dacascos. When you got two martial artists of those skill sets put on film, man, that shit should have been electrifying. Instead, it was like, all right, cool. You fought the Viking guy harder than this, but all right, that's cool. I got you. Yeah. So some of the fight scenes did let me down, at least in terms of Mark Dacascos. Action-wise, I couldn't ask for more from a late 80s, early 90s film. Like I said, the plot is just nonsensical. I wouldn't even try to synopsize this film because it's just no sense. Baby found in the woods, learned the way of the samurai. And if you think about it, the son's actually fucking right. You can't, by way of the code of the samurai, just take in babies, train them in the tradition, and then just give them like the family sword. He's not family. But okay, whatever. I'll let that shit slide. It goes back to that Chuck Norris octagon shit. Yeah, I'll let that slide. Those two movies have the same parallel thing where it's like, you know what? I've been putting foot to ass trying to make my dad proud for all these years, and this motherfucker finds a baby in the woods, and just like that, this is the prodigal son, and I'm just a piece of shit. But before this baby got here, I was the fucking man. But all right, whatever. That's cool. I suck. Whatever. Like, no sequel for me, and there was not an American Samurai 2. I looked. I tried to see if I could find out, like, if this was like a successful movie on VHS, but alas, no information found. That tells me right there this is one of those dog shit rentals that you would rent on a Saturday afternoon when you're either going to get high with your buddies or get drunk.
It's even in theater.
Oh no, I highly doubt this ever saw a theater in its life in any country. I would imagine this movie would have been one of those Canon direct to VHS movies all around the world. And I'm not saying that as a diss. There are certain movies that deserve to be in theaters, and then there are others that don't. I was just amazed at how many recognizable faces were actually in this movie. Like Mark Dacascos obviously went on to be the chairman for Iron Chef America. Then he went on to be in John Wick 3 and another handful of high-profile films. David Bradley had a very, very successful B-movie career until, I want to say it was a back injury that forced him to retire from making movies, even though he had all the energy in the world to make like 3 or 4, maybe even 5 of those American Ninja movies that just got worse and worse and worse as time went on. But, it's still an entertaining popcorn flick. Like I said, I'll give it a 3.5 if you ain't got nothing else better to do and you're bored. And if you're like me and you just enjoy craptastic karate flicks, this is a movie that you can sit back and enjoy. I would definitely recommend maybe, getting you a 24-pack of Heineken and just seeing where the evening takes you. Anything else you guys want to add to this movie before we move on?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm very impressed that in 1992, someone could shoot a movie that actually looked like a 1970s snuff film.
Yes. Welcome to the show, UTBABYA.
It is astonishing the level of. It's almost like I'm watching like something from, like, I don't know, The Odd Couple when they're like eating over dinner, like they're eating dinner. The guy and the girl just eating dinner. It looks like something shot from like late 60s, early 70s. Some of the and the fact that the very opening scene, the first thing I see is an indistinguishable reflection on a small airplane door, and I'm supposed to be looking through the window, but they shot it so badly that all I get is the reflection from the underside of the wing. I mean, this is a masterclass in how not to shoot a movie. I found that really impressive about this one.
The first plane crash was like incredibly bad.
Oh yeah, that was bottom of the barrel.
Horrible. Oh, and when it hits the tree, straight up Godzilla movie, 1960s.
Yes.
Godzilla movie.
Yeah, like bounces off.
Clearly a 2-inch replica hitting a 2-inch tree replica.
You know what? So I got to ask UTBABYA, how you rate this film so far?
Well, I haven't made it through the whole thing, but boy, there again, I'm just taken by the cinematography. Some of the choices they made are just astonishing. I did like the digging the bullet out of your own abdomen wound.
That is a thing.
That was a solid choice. Because he kind of did it with a pretty calm look on his face, no grimace of pain.
I mean, he's a samurai,
like that.
so
Yeah, it was. It's intriguing. I'm going to enjoy finishing this. I'm pretty sure.
I think David Bradley's
probably
the only
for all
guy.
the wrong reasons.
I think David Bradley's the only guy that can say that he has truthfully been both an American ninja and an American samurai, all within the same decade. That's pretty impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
Like, if you really think about that, that is a very hard feat. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hit the intro music. And Mr. Justice Magnificence, would you be as so kind after the intro? Would you be so kind as to give us the technique of the day? Listen to that intro. The floor is yours, sir.
Technique of the day. Now, this is one of the probably the more intelligent parts of the movie, where it actually makes sense. David Bradley was fighting the Viking guy, and he took the blunt part of the sword and starts hitting the metal or iron helmet of the Viking guy, and had him discombobulated, whatever you want to call it, just had him everywhere, throwing off his equilibrium. And I thought that was great. That was great. Like, that's a good technique.
You know where they got that from?
Where'd they get that from?
Oh man, the Batosai.
Genshin.
Yeah, that whole thing is literally taken directly from that. We use the reverse blade technique on people.
Right. So that I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, nice.
That was a good pick, because I actually think that was one of the better. To me, that was one of the better applications of swordplay used against an actual armored helmet. I actually thought that was pretty genius.
Yeah,
I'm almost convinced whoever choreographed that didn't choreograph anything else involved in this movie. That dude showed up and was like, "Hey, watch this. Turn this motherfucker backwards. See this dope part right here? Whack, 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 whack. All right, I'm going to lunch. Peace out. Check better be in the mail."
So that was probably the highlight for me as far as technique, and it's useful if you have a sword. Somebody has on a helmet, blunt force.
Yeah, because you're definitely not scuffing your blade up and refusing the back end of it. I mean, I would imagine. I mean, I'm not on the receiving end of these shots, but I would imagine that not only would that hurt like hell, but that would definitely cave in your helmet to the point where you can't see anything.
Right. Did anybody else see anything worth?
Yeah, actually, there was a move near the end of that movie. I can't remember who he did it on, but I don't know if it was an Aikido move or like a Japanese jiu-jitsu move, but basically this dude is like coming at him and he like sidesteps. And it's almost like he does like a reverse arm clothesline and takes this dude completely off his feet. And I wish I had cut that clip so I could put it in the chat, but I had never seen a reverse clothesline before. I thought it was pretty sick. I can't remember who he did it against. I know he was wearing like the Japanese kimono outfit when he did it, and it was quick. It looked pretty brutal, at least in terms of the choreography, because the dude just got folded like a lawn chair and just never got back up.
And this is David Bradley?
Yep, David Bradley. He pulls off this reverse clothesline on somebody. I want to say it's either his first or second fight in the blade cage or whatever they were calling it.
Yeah, I don't remember that move. I just remember the one I was talking about. But I'm gonna look back at it and see. UTBABYA, he's still watching. He may be able to find it.
It was definitely a dope move.
When you say reverse clothesline, do you mean like a back fist style throwing it?
Yeah, it's like he turns sideways, and instead of like throwing like a discus punch like what you would do with a normal clothesline, it's like he just does almost like a reverse back fist, but his hands are open. It's almost like a reverse karate chop, and he goes right across this dude's like throat and just takes him right off his feet.
Mm-hmm.
It was that.
Sounds like my man Zangief.
A little bit, just in reverse.
A lariat?
Yeah, exactly, a lariat. It's like a reverse lariat. It was a sick move, and I was like, man, I'm going to try that on somebody in the gym.
Yeah, usually the spinning pile driver goes best after that reverse lariat.
I mean, that's always a good move. It's always a good move. McGriddles, let me ask you another question. You still pretty competent in Street Fighter?
Yeah, man, I play fighting games all the time.
Okay. There's a reason why I'm asking you, sir. Is because for our next show, it's dedicated to fighting games. So, gentlemen, I'm going to need you guys to all brush up on your fighting game skills, your fighting game knowledge, and your fighting game history. Because episode number 3 is all about the beat-em-ups.
Oh, nice. Frame trap.
Well, gentlemen, I wanted to thank you guys for taking the time this evening for joining me for episode number 2 of Fist Fights and Fried Rice. I think I'm going to dub this episode American Samurai, ? I thank you guys for taking the time. I'm going to go ahead and play the brand new outro for Fist Fights and Fried Rice, brought to us by a one Mr. Beatmaker Solidus, Detroit. Staying here in North Carolina, he's one of the most dope-ass beat makers in the game today, and I am thrilled that he has made us our outro. Gentlemen, once again, I thank you for your time. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening.